How to think clearly under pressure. Pressure is a normal part of life. Whether you are facing an important exam, a job interview, a business decision, a financial problem, family crisis, or a tight deadline, there will be moments when the stakes feel high and the time available feels short. The challenge is not pressure itself. The real challenge is what pressure does to our thinking. Many people become less effective when pressure increases. They rush decisions, overlook important details, react emotionally, and make mistakes they would never make under normal circumstances. Have you ever walked away from a difficult situation and thought, "I knew the answer, but I couldn't think clearly at the moment"? If so, you are not alone. The good news is that clear thinking under pressure is not a talent that only a few people possess. It is a skill that can be learned, practiced, and improved. In this video, we will explore why pressure affects thinking, the most common mental mistakes people make, and practical strategies you can use to stay calm, focused, and effective when it matters most. Understanding why pressure disrupts thinking. Before learning solutions, it helps to understand the problem. Pressure activates the body's survival system. This response evolved to protect humans from danger. When the brain detects a threat, it shifts resources toward immediate survival. The problem is that modern challenges are rarely physical threats. Most pressures today involve decisions, communication, planning, and problem solving. Unfortunately, the brain often responds to a difficult meeting or major deadline as if it were a life-threatening emergency. As stress increases, several things happen. Attention becomes narrower, emotional reactions become stronger, short-term thinking replaces long-term thinking, creativity decreases, memory recall becomes less reliable, decision-making becomes more impulsive. This means that the moment you need your best thinking is often the moment your brain tries to give you less of it. The key is learning how to manage this response rather than allowing it to control your actions. The biggest mistakes people make under pressure. Mistake number 1. Rushing to act. Many people believe speed is the answer to pressure. When a problem appears, they immediately begin taking action without fully understanding the situation. However, acting quickly is not always the same as acting effectively. A few minutes spent understanding the problem can save hours of wasted effort later. Before responding to any high-pressure situation, ask yourself, what exactly is the real problem I need to solve? This simple question often reveals that the apparent problem is only a symptom of something deeper. Mistake number 2. Letting emotions make decisions. Emotions provide valuable information, but they are poor decision makers. Fear can exaggerate risks. Anger can create unnecessary conflict. Excitement can cause people to ignore warning signs. When emotions are intense, separate feelings from facts. Ask, what do I know for certain? What assumptions am I making? What evidence supports my conclusion? This habit creates distance between emotional reactions and rational thinking. Mistake number 3. Trying to solve everything at once. Pressure often creates mental overload. People see multiple problems and attempt to solve all of them simultaneously. The result is confusion and exhaustion. Instead, identify the single most important issue. Focus on solving one problem at a time. Clarity increases when attention is concentrated rather than scattered. The first skill: slow down before you speed up. This advice sounds counterintuitive. When pressure rises, most people want to move faster. However, effective decision makers often do the opposite. They pause briefly before acting. This does not mean procrastinating. It means creating a small space between stimulus and response. Even a 30-second pause can dramatically improve judgment. During that pause, review the situation, identify priorities, consider consequences, clarify objectives. A short pause prevents many costly mistakes. Remember, fast action is valuable only when it follows clear thinking. The second skill: focus on what you can control. One reason pressure becomes overwhelming is that people focus on factors they cannot influence. They worry about outcomes, opinions, future events, and worst-case scenarios. This consumes mental energy without improving results. Instead, divide every situation into two categories. Things you can control: your preparation, your effort, your attitude, your communication, your decisions. Things you cannot control: other people's reactions, unexpected events, market conditions, past mistakes, external circumstances. Direct your attention toward the first category. The more energy you invest in controllable factors, the clearer your thinking becomes. The third skill: use structured thinking. Pressure creates chaos. Structure creates clarity. Whenever you face a difficult problem, organize your thinking using a simple framework. Ask, what is happening? Describe the situation objectively. Why is it happening? Identify possible causes. What are my options? Generate potential solutions. What are the consequences of each option? Evaluate risks and benefits. What is the next best step? Choose the most practical action. This approach transforms emotional confusion into logical analysis. The fourth skill: avoid catastrophic thinking. One of the most damaging habits under pressure is imagining the worst possible outcome. The brain begins creating disaster scenarios. What if everything goes wrong? What if I fail completely? What if this ruins everything? While risk assessment is important, catastrophizing is different. Catastrophizing assumes the worst outcome is both likely and unavoidable. Instead, ask three questions. What is the worst case scenario? What is the best case scenario? What is the most realistic scenario? Most of the time, reality falls somewhere in the middle. This perspective helps reduce unnecessary anxiety and improves decision quality. The fifth skill: break large problems into smaller parts. Large problems often feel overwhelming because the brain tries to process everything simultaneously. A more effective approach is decomposition. Break the challenge into smaller components. For example, instead of asking, how do I solve this entire crisis? Ask, what is the first step? Then, what is the second step? And then, what comes next? Progress becomes easier when complexity is reduced into manageable actions. Many seemingly impossible problems become solvable when divided into smaller tasks. The sixth skill: develop mental flexibility. Under pressure, people often become attached to one solution. If that solution fails, panic increases. Clear thinkers remain flexible. They understand that there is usually more than one path forward. When evaluating a situation, create multiple options. Even if you strongly prefer one solution, identify alternatives. This reduces emotional attachment and increases adaptability. The ability to adjust plans quickly is one of the most valuable skills in high-pressure environments. The seventh skill: improve your self-talk. The conversation happening inside your mind affects your performance. Many people become their own worst critics under pressure. They say things like, I can't handle this, I'm going to fail, everything is falling apart. These thoughts increase stress and reduce effectiveness. Replace them with constructive alternatives. I can handle one step at a time. I will focus on facts. I have solved difficult problems before. I can learn from this situation. Positive self-talk is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about maintaining a mindset that supports effective action. The eighth skill: use decision deadlines wisely. Some people make decisions too quickly. Others delay decisions indefinitely. Neither approach is ideal. For important decisions, establish a reasonable deadline. Gather relevant information. Evaluate options. Make the decision when the deadline arrives. Waiting forever rarely produces perfect certainty. At some point, action becomes more valuable than additional analysis. Good decision makers seek sufficient information, not infinite information. The ninth skill: learn to prioritize ruthlessly. Not every problem deserves equal attention. Under pressure, priorities become essential. Ask yourself, what will have the greatest impact right now? Focus there first. Many people waste valuable energy on minor issues while major problems remain unresolved. Effective prioritization creates momentum. When the most important tasks are handled first, overall stress often decreases dramatically. The 10th skill: Prepare before pressure arrives. The best time to prepare for pressure is before it happens. Athletes train before competitions. Pilots practice emergencies before flights. Business leaders create contingency plans before crises. Preparation improves confidence because uncertainty decreases. Ask yourself, what challenges am I likely to face? What solutions might be needed? What resources should I have available? What skills should I improve now? Preparation turns future pressure into manageable situations. Building long-term mental resilience. Clear thinking under pressure is not only about techniques, it is also about overall mental resilience. Several lifestyle factors influence your ability to perform under stress. These include sleep. Fatigue reduces attention, memory, and judgment. Physical activity. Regular exercise improves stress management and cognitive performance. Nutrition. Stable energy levels support clear thinking. Recovery. Continuous pressure without recovery eventually reduces effectiveness. Learning. The more knowledge and experience you gain, the more confident and adaptable you become. Mental resilience is built gradually through consistent habits. What to do immediately when pressure hits. When you suddenly face a stressful situation, remember the simple sequence. 1. Pause. 2. Breathe slowly. 3. Define the real problem. 4. Separate facts from emotions. 5. Focus on what you can control. 6. Identify possible options. 7. Choose the next best action. 8. Execute calmly. 9. Reassess as new information appears. This process helps prevent panic and restores clear thinking. Final notes. Pressure is not the enemy. In many cases, pressure is simply a signal that something important is happening. The goal is not to eliminate pressure from your life. That is impossible. The goal is to develop the ability to think clearly despite pressure. Remember, clear thinking is not about being fearless. It is about staying rational when emotions are strong. It is about focusing on facts when uncertainty is high. It is about taking deliberate action when others are reacting impulsively. The people who consistently perform well under pressure are not necessarily smarter than everyone else. They simply have better systems for managing their thoughts, emotions, and decisions. And those systems can be learned by anyone willing to practice them. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss future content on productivity, decision-making, mental performance, personal growth, and practical life skills. Also, leave a comment below and answer this question. What situation puts you under the most pressure, and what strategy helps you think clearly when it happens?